Hi guys, so the number one request on my website for a new lesson for me to make was how to write a song. Now, my audience is primarily beginners, so we're going to be keeping this very simple but also very practical tips on kind of writing your first song and doing it just for fun, but also every one of these tips that I'm going to show you is used by the pros, and I will be mentioning particular artists or songwriters as we go, but this is my top 10 songwriting tips. Number one, stockpiling ideas. You carry with you in your pocket most of the time a recording device, a device to write down lyric ideas, and you need to use it. Songwriters, since recording devices were created, have been using dictaphones to record their ideas anytime the inspiration strikes. The best songwriting ideas happen when you're not thinking about them, when you're not sat down and ready to write. And there's also nothing worse when you set aside half an hour or an hour or 3 hours to record or write a song and you've got nothing to work with. That blank canvas is not a good idea. You need to have a sound bank of as many riff ideas, chord sequence ideas, lyric ideas, a line from a song that you can then rhyme and then sort of build from there. So stockpiling ideas on your phone or on your laptop or in a notepad at all is absolutely my number one tip. Number two, choose a musical key. All pop songs have a musical key. And by that we mean, for example, if a song is in the key of C major, it will have certain chords in it, including possibly F, G, A minor, and the notes from the melody that either someone is singing or that are played on another instrument will be derived from the major scale, which is that key, the C major scale, for example. If you're watching this video anytime past summer 2017, I'm going to be doing loads this summer on musical keys. So check out my videos if you're watching this at some time in the future. But for right now, I've done an awful lot on the key of C, and there's a link on that in the description. Song structure. The most basic song structure you can have is just verse, chorus, okay? If you focus on that and get the verse and the chorus as good as possible, then you're laughing. You're so far along the line, it's untrue. Getting those to sound good is everything. From there, you can have a musical intro, which usually is just a simplified version of the chorus or the verse, at least from a chords point of view anyway. And then you have a bridge, which can go in between a verse and a chorus. And there is also something called a middle eight, which happens just after the middle of a song and tends to be 8 bars. And that could be anything from another verse to a musical breakdown to a guitar solo. If you're watching in America, these names can be changed to a pre-chorus and a bridge, which can be confusing, but they are just different terms for exactly the same thing. If that kind of song structure is very difficult for you and you don't know where to take a song, you can use the chord sequence of a song that already exists to sort of map out where your song could go, to use as a template, because you cannot copyright a chord sequence. If you can come up with 4 chords in an order, it is guaranteed it has been done before, but you can get ideas of where you can take these other sections as a bridge or a middle 8, and just ideas of where to take your song. Don't go close to the original at all with your melodic ideas or the lyrics, but the chord sequence behind it is fair game and is something that John Lennon used to use when he was first writing songs. Number 4, melody. Simply humming over the chords or the riff that you've created is a great starting point for any song. And the freeness of that, not holding yourself rigid to lyrics, means you'll possibly come up with some better or catchier melodic ideas. One interesting point is if your melody doesn't move an awful lot, so it stays on the same notes most of the time, the listener is more inclined to listen to the words you're saying. And if the melody jumps up and down an awful lot, then the listener is less likely to hang on to the words and they're more likely to hang on to the melody. So my example of that is John Lennon and Paul McCartney. John Lennon commonly sang a lot of the melodies that he wrote on one or two notes. I am he and you are me and you are me and we are all together. Okay, I am the walrus. And then Paul McCartney, it would jump around a lot more. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Okay, it jumps up a lot more. There's no right or wrong, but that's just something to try and play to your strengths. Number 5, a musical hook. You need your song to stand out from the crowd and to try and get something slightly unique about it. I say slightly unique about it because you've got to accept that all of this has been done before. If you're writing a rock or a pop song, you are telling the same story that Elvis and the Beatles told 50 or 60 years ago, okay? And they were just finding a new way to retell gospel or blues songs. It's the same story that we've been telling for nearly 100 years. But it's a good story. Don't be afraid to tell the same thing again. However, try and get something unique as a hook, as the thing that people remember your song for. So the chord sequence, feel free to use one that already exists from another song. But your musical hook should be very distinctive. And don't be just content with having one catchy part of a song. Artists like Calvin Harris create their songs just from stacking hooks. It's like they don't bother with the verses. They just have a chorus and that's the verse, and then the bridge is another chorus, and then the chorus happens and that's, another catchy part again. This kind of stacking these catchy parts of your song, it really works. It's something that ABBA used to do all the time. If you take a track like Mamma Mia, as soon as Mamma Mia starts in the first second, you have a musical hook. And then there's another one starts with the guitars, and then the verses is another hook again. And if you just listen to that song, that is the example that I would give of this kind of stacking of hooks and layering of hooks. And it's such an easier job to try and sell your song to the listener. I don't mean from a money point of view, just for people to like it. If they can get that way into the song, and the way to get the listener in is to hook them in with a musical hook. But of course, the other way to get the listener in is with the lyrics, and the next 5 points are going to be purely about lyrics. So point number 6, pick a theme. Your song has to have a purpose or a theme or at least a loose story, a point to it. So basing your lyrics around a theme, something that you're trying to say, something that you're trying to work through or get off your chest, or just an expression of something, is definitely, these are good things to write about, okay? I'm not saying that there are good and bad topics for you to write about, as in trying to tell you what to write about. I'm just saying that are easier topics to get lyrical content from than other things. Once you have a theme, a great thing to do is to brainstorm other words that happen around that theme. So maybe your theme is love, and you could brainstorm from that heartbreak, or you could brainstorm the love I lost and try and get lyrical ideas from that. And if you have 2 or 3 themes that are slightly connected but slightly different, that can really help fill out the lyrics, just to at least sketch down an idea of what they're going to be, and then you refine them later and tell more of a story afterwards, after the rest of the song is sort of bedded down. The structure, the bare bones of the song is bedded down. Writing a chorus. Don't bore us, get to the chorus is kind of a songwriting catchphrase that says it doesn't matter about the rest of the song, all that matters is the chorus, As long as people remember the chorus and they want to sing along, then it's done its job. So a great way to write a great chorus is to work backwards from the title and have the title either at the start or the end and be repeating it a couple of times. Repeating sections of the chorus, so a thematic idea or the same lyrics, is a great thing. But in essence, the chorus should be a summary of whatever message your song is trying to say. So as I say, deciding on exactly what message you're trying to convey with your song makes the chorus a lot easier. For example, a great chorus, living on a prayer, whoa, we're halfway there, whoa, living on a prayer, doesn't mean anything in isolation, but after you've heard the verses, Tommy used to work on the dock, Union's been on strike, he's down on his luck, it's tough. You know the context of the people he's singing about, you know who he's singing about, Tommy and Gina, and the chorus makes sense, and therefore it's a much better chorus, even though the chorus in isolation isn't really about anything. Which brings me on to verses. Now, as I've said there, verses add detail. The verses are the way you're telling the story, and you have to have detail. Every time I write lyrics and I think there's something about that that's not right, it's always the detail that's missing. The listener does not know who your song's about, what you're trying to say, or anything about all the pictures that you may have in your head when you're writing it. You need to get that down. You need to tell people. You need to communicate it. Otherwise, it's just totally lost on people, okay? So definitely add detail of, you know, names of places, people, street names, colors, what it felt like. A great example I use a lot is Back for Good by Take That. Got a picture of you beside me, got your lipstick mark still on your coffee cup. There's detail there, more than just, he could sing, I'm heartbroken, I'm laying in bed, but it's a better way of telling you his situation, and that's a good technique that you can steal and use in whatever genre you wish to write a song in. And of course, when you've written a verse, you'll need to write it, rewrite it, come back to it, change words to make it either make more sense or just more lyrical to sound better. And finally, my biggest tip, tip number 10, do it often. Songwriting, more than anything else, is a very wasteful art. You have to write a lot of songs to get one good one. It's not uncommon for artists, bands, or songwriters to write 40 or 50 or 60 songs that then get cut down to the 10 or the 12 songs that make the album or that they give to an artist. If you're brand new to this and you're wanting to write your first song, try and create something, but don't be precious about it. Do record it, otherwise you will forget the songs that you've written. But for example, if you're within the first 30 songs that you've ever written, record them, but only expect 1 or 2 of those to be songs that you will play and keep in the future, either to perform or to use in bands or to give to another person to sing, anything like that. It is a wasteful art. Even the best songwriters, and especially the best songwriters, write a lot, they write often, and then only the best ever get heard. So that was my top 10 songwriting tips. I've written about probably 200 songs in my life that have been finished and recorded in some aspects. I've co-written with other artists. I've released 2 albums, which I think there'll be links to on the screen now. So thank you for checking out this video. If you want to hear more about my songwriting, the links are on the screen now. And thank you very much for watching this video. I will see you in a future one. Bye for now, guys.